We're doing this barefaced today because I didn't film on Monday. It was Christmas. Barely been here a month and I'm already giving myself time crunches. Girl, what? If you're watching this on December 31st, New Year is literally tomorrow. Don't go any further into 2024 with these mindsets about black hair. If you want to be free of your hair struggles, or at least start to be free of them, leave everything in this video in 2023. Preferably 2013, but okay. Constantly needing your hair to be in braids or silk presses, or your hair's not done. I watched a TikTok video of a girl with big, gorgeous, curly hair, maybe somewhere between loose curls and tight curls, I don't remember. She's standing in her bathroom mirror and her mom is standing there bull-faced, telling her she needs to fix it and it's not done. She has this look of slight disturbance on her face, kind of like the face that you make when somebody messed up coloring their own hair but you're trying to be nice about it, basically telling her she can't leave the house like that, or trying to keep her from leaving the house like that. Mind you, the hair was perfectly shaped. There was nothing wrong with it. This needs to end. This disdain for curly hair simply because it's not straight or wavy or otherwise representative of Eurocentric beauty standards has got to go. I was gonna say we need to create our own beauty standards, but we already have them. We just refuse to uphold them because we've been so successfully brainwashed that they're not valid, ironically, because they're not Eurocentric. In how much turmoil would they be if you just stopped living by them? If you just decided, you know what? My natural hair is beautiful. Because I said so. They can't stop you. They only have that much power over your beauty standards because you let them. It's all mind games. Harmful, yes, absolutely. But it's no different from somebody telling you you're ugly and then you going the rest of your life believing that and continuing to believe that without ever challenging it. Without ever sitting down and really thinking, okay, but am I actually ugly, or were you just saying that, hoping that I would believe it? And then look at you, you did. We may not be responsible for the start of all of the judgment of our natural hair and the struggles that we have with it, but at some point, you have to take the responsibility to put in the work to unlearn mindsets that aren't doing you any good. At some point, you have to do the work to unlearn that. On the heels of that is feeling the need to do your hair for a special event as if your natural hair is not acceptable. Stop straightening your hair every time you have somewhere to be. Natural hair, natural curly hair is event hair. Maybe not for that one girl. You know who I'm talking about. But here's my logic. If I'm invited somewhere, and then you tell me that I cannot bring my God-given hair to that event, the hair that naturally grows out of my head, like this is my hair. This is how it naturally grows out of my head. You're telling me I can't bring that to your event? You just disinvited me from your event. Plain and simple. Point blank period. You just disinvited me from your event. And I'm probably not going to another one of your events ever again unless you don't do that. Okay, now we're starting to get a little bit specific here. The phrase, do what works for you. I despise this phrase to the point where I have to remind myself that it's not supposed to also be annoying in other areas of life. Yes, everybody has to find what works for them, but that's not how it's used by the natural hair community. It's used in mainly two ways. One, to defend themselves from the discomfort that they feel when somebody with clear expertise, like a tight curl specialist, speaks on hair. Or two, as if they're trying to keep other people from listening to them so that they can feel validated in what they do. Because if you rely on external validation, the more people you see doing something that you also do, the more like okay it feels for you to be doing that thing. But it gives me the same image as when like somebody's in a store pointing to all of the products on the shelves, making up claims about that product to give it a bad image or a bad name, and then it's like, not my product, buy my product instead, right? Not even like, oh, well, here are some other alternatives, here are some better quality options. Nope, just my product works. Here's the thing. You don't know what works for you. Because if you do, why are you still struggling and trying every DIY hair care method and concoction under the sun? Why are you still buying more and more hair products saying, maybe this will work? Why are you still trying to figure out why your hair is so dry? Why are you still saying you don't want to deal with your natural hair and blaming all of your problems on your hair, just saying that your hair is just difficult? And also, why does what works never include proper hair hygiene? But that's a conversation for a whole nother video. Saying that natural hair is a trial and error process. No, it's not. It's really not. That's what professionals are for. The curl specialist community is still a growing field, so there's definitely not as many stylists as there truly needs to be, like desperately. But there are quite a few licensed cosmetologists out there that have dedicated their entire career of hair to hair that looks like mine. And the proof of their expertise is all over their socials. Countless people in their comments and on Twitter have said that their advice changed their hair, made it easier to want to take care of their hair, gave them their Sundays and their time and hours back. Basically, it changed their life for the better, and this is just with the free information that they put out. There are people who have only interacted with these stylists as far as the free information that they put on socials, and it still helped their hair. But y'all won't go see them because you're convinced that all of those people's results have to do with a label from that stupid curl typing chart. Oh my goodness, it's the most treacherous thing in the world. I hate it. Thanks. And the natural hair community has y'all thoroughly convinced that they're all just gonna destroy your hair. Like, I know that that was the norm back then. You kind of just walked into a salon and knew that they weren't gonna know what to do with your hair. But like I said, the proof of expertise of these curl specialists is all over their socials. So you know exactly what you're getting into before you even step foot in their salon. I feel like curl specialists who have been putting their expertise on social media for the general public to use for free are not interested in destroying your hair when people who have followed their advice without sitting in their chair have seen an improvement in their hair. I feel like there's not a whole lot of hair destroying going on there. But I don't know, that's just me, maybe. Because they're visible proof that's easily acceptable by the general public on social media says very clearly otherwise. Saying things like, okay, but my hair can't do that. Also known as self-othering. Because why are you just okay with that? Being the only person in the world who has this specific incapability, or at least treating yourself like that's the case. Having no solution for it, but the only available answer seems to be something's just wrong with your hair. You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? Secondly, and I'm going to touch your hand when I say this. When I said that you're not special, I meant that. Let me tell you something. Your hair is not an anomaly. It's not something that has no answer, no remedy. It's not something that you just have to struggle with because nobody has the answers. There are people that have the answers, I promise you. It's a curl specialist that I just mentioned. When you understand the biology of hair, and I don't mean the understanding that people run with to fit their narrative about black hair, I mean understanding the literal structure of hair strands and how they react when you do certain things to them. You realize that hair is hair. And blackness doesn't affect that. Of course, it's more likely that you're gonna have tight curls, or at least tighter curls, than bone straight hair. And I don't see many people of European descent with hair that looks like mine, but at a basic biochemical level, hair truly is hair. Using someone's hair to qualify their ability, right, or privilege to speak, which is rooted in anti-blackness. I touched on a lot of this in my video called Y'all Don't Like Natural Hair, and I said that y'all use the same metrics that you use to judge beauty. Loose curls, stretched hair to give the illusion of length, big hair, etc., to judge whether or not somebody can speak on hair. It's rooted in anti-blackness because the type of hair that's always targeted is hair that looks like mine. Someone is less likely to be targeted if they have a hair pattern that is common in non-black people, even if they are black. But if somebody has a literal cosmetology degree, meaning they study hair for hours, various types of it, and you can see the results they're bringing out on other people's hair, especially if they work with multiple patterns. Why does the hair on their own head matter? Why do we treat ourselves as if the type of hair you have on the outside of your head prevents you from using the brain that's on the inside of your head to learn about hair? If we always dictated whether or not we could speak on something by whether or not a beauty standard applied to us, a lot of us should stop speaking about a lot of things effective immediately. Not to mention, when we were in school, we learned about sample size. Data has more weight based on how big the sample size is. If 5 people say something is good, that's not going to be as valuable to me as if 500 people say that same thing is good. If I'm looking for a mechanic, I'm not looking to pop his hood. I'm looking to see what other owners of various cars have said about his work. When I'm searching for an OBGYN, I'm not concerned with her body parts. I'm concerned with what other people have said about her care and expertise. So when I'm looking at these stylists, I'm not worried about just their head. I'm worried about all the other heads they've worked on. And I kinda expect their hair to be worse than the clients that they work on, cause they're spending time with all these clients. They ain't got time to be worried about their own head. Oh, and by the way, to become a licensed cosmetologist, you need somewhere from between 1,000 to 2,300 school hours according to Google. It depends on your state, but in my state, Tennessee, you need 1,500. The curl specialists that I always talk about have a certification called Cut It Kinky, which is a cutting technique designed for curly hair, especially hair that looks like mine. You can only take those classes if you're already a licensed cosmetologist, because they're just going right in with the Cosmo lingo. They expect you to know your stuff already. They're not catching you up. On the Cut It Kinky website, stylists get different labels stating their CIK level, which is based on how many classes they've taken. And the most experienced of stylists don't stop taking classes. So by the time you're ready to sit in their chair and think you're gonna tell them about your one head of hair, they have already worked on thousands before you got there. Saying that not everybody has the ability to do their hair like y'all. I believe that y'all say this because you don't allow yourself to believe that it's possible. If you've never done it, of course you don't think it can happen. But the thing is, this never stopped y'all from trying everything that the natural hair community told y'all to try for your hair goals. Not only do you keep mentally assigning natural hair community methods to their results, assuming that in order to do your hair like that, you have to keep using the products and techniques you're currently using, but you're still operating off the mindset that your hair is just not capable of doing certain things, as was taught to you by the natural hair community. And, I can say this because I was guilty of it, but y'all keep letting that little hair type number tell you what you can and can't foresee in your future. How two little characters got so much power? Because as strong as y'all's mindsets are about natural hair and its abilities and its beauty, y'all sure do allow yourselves to be dissuaded by what you should and shouldn't foresee in your future. And if you've got hair goals for 2024, ask yourself how many of those hair goals are based in hair resentment and unrealistic beauty standards. Now, before I end this video, I just wanted to address some comments that I got on that video I mentioned earlier. Nah, I've seen your content on Instagram. Don't try and victimize yourself when you say dumb things. Let me ask you some questions. How is it dumb to tell Black people their hair can grow without braids? How is it dumb to tell people that oil is hydrophobic and contributes to that same dryness they use oil to prevent? How is it dumb to say that overuse of protective styles do more harm than good, contributing to issues like traction and tension alopecia? How is it dumb to say that hair is actually more resilient than we think it is and it doesn't need protection from the elements? How is it dumb to tell people that moisture comes from extended hydration of the hair, meaning that washing your hair more often will benefit the hair because heavy oils and thick products are no longer preventing the hair's absorption of water? How is it dumb to tell people our hair actually isn't too weak for shampoo and shampoo isn't too strong for our hair? We were just using strong shampoos too often and our hair reacted, so we panicked. How is it dumb to uplift people and tell them that our hair was never supposed to be this difficult? Don't answer any of those questions because I know the answer already, and it's that it's not dumb. I just broke what appears to be the #1 rule of the natural hair community. Never defy them. Everything that I just stated directly contradicts what the natural hair community teaches us about our hair and how to take care of it. But these things, along with other proper education, is what has given tens, if not hundreds of thousands of us ease and freedom, not just with our hair and hair care routines, but with our mentality towards it. I'm not going to apologize for that. Just like how y'all are not going to apologize for the countless ways I've been body shamed and dealt anti-blackness for speaking the truth. Could that be what you claim I'm victimizing myself on? I will never stop talking about how hard we have made it for Black people, Black women especially, to love our hair and therefore love taking care of our hair. And how easy Black hair actually is to take care of when you comb through all of the marketing and rhetoric the natural hair community and industry has shoved down our throats for the sake of profit. The next comment that I want to address is the one that said that I ran here from Instagram because they were eating me up. Baby, y'all thought y'all were eating me up. What you were really doing was projecting your anti-blackness and self-hatred onto me. And for the record, if the only way you can eat somebody up is by being anti-black and body shaming them, you're actually not eating anybody up, you're just starving. Let it be known that when I started this content journey, I always wanted to be a YouTube girly. But at the time, I didn't have the lifestyle that would get enough eyes on my page with just vlogging. I still don't. And I didn't have anything to speak on for talking head videos. Until now. My videos on socials kept getting longer and longer, so they kept getting harder to upload. Long form video allows me to say more of what I want without really worrying too much about how long the video is getting for the most part, and YouTube videos are less stressful to upload. Also, Instagram and TikTok are getting draining to BH, like it's not fun anymore. So y'all better pull up a chair, cause I ain't just run from social media. I didn't stop anything. I just migrated over here. I am standing 10 toes down on everything I said over there, which is why the videos are still up, by the way. I'm just bringing it here now. And I will continue to talk my shit until I'm done. So hold on to your edges, because it's going to be a kinky ride. And lastly, to that one person who said that all of this sounded like projection, how would you prefer I express an experience I lived through? And not just me, but thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, or even millions of other Black women who feel pressured to live up to this standard of beauty we've limited ourselves to. The only people who would think this is projection are the people who are somehow complicit in allowing Black women to feel this way about our hair. At what point are we allowed to express how y'all are hurting us without you trying to distance yourself from your actions and your emotions by calling it projection? Oh, that's right, I forgot. I answered this question in a video already. You judge whether or not they have the right to speak on hair by the same metrics you use to judge beauty. The definition of projection is a defense mechanism of alterity concerning inside content mistaken to be coming from the outside other. Somehow I don't get the feeling the comments and content we see on social media and the judgment we get from friends and family members for wearing our natural hair is just coming from inside us, and trying to get us to believe that what we're seeing isn't actually what we're seeing when the proof is concrete is called gaslighting. This did not start when I started talking about hair. This was happening to the curl specialists I get my information from back when I was still learning it from them on socials and wasn't even thinking about posting it on social media myself. And this has been going on for years in just slightly different ways in the natural hair community, but nobody wants to talk about it because then they might have to look at themselves, and that's too uncomfortable. Reframe the situation all you want to diminish your feelings about it, but I know what I went through, so I know what thousands of other people like me are going through. And I'm going to be there for those people.